is Christopher Dube. I am the town clerk for the City of Bulawayo. I'm with me here, Mr. Salmiama, who is the Director of Economics in the provincial government. He is standing in for the Secretary for Provincial Affairs. We have been directed by the provincial government to engage stakeholders on the state of affairs in the city, that is on the cleaning of the city. As you are aware, the city is in a state of serious problems concerning debt in the city, garbage in the city, lawlessness in the city. So we are consulting all the stakeholders. We have consulted so far the vendors, we have consulted so far transport operators locally, in talking to transport operators, intercity transport operators, and those who go beyond our borders. We are meeting political parties so that they can help us try to fight this scourge of lawlessness in the city. And I know, let me make it this way, we are not pointing fingers at anyone, at any political party, but we are saying you have the following of the people. Most of the people in Bulawayo are politically active, and most of them, one way or the other, they are your members. So we welcome you, members of the ruling parties, ZANU-PF, members of CCC, which happens to be having quite a significant number of councillors in the city of Bulawayo, and also in absentia MDC Alliance. And I also welcome you, Honorable Watson, not only as a member of your party, but as a member of parliament. And we also welcome ZAPU for coming. We also hope and trust we will be joined by MRP. Of course, they've been very vocal, and there are some people I know who might be in the streets also, who might be saying they belong to that party. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the two of us here, the Secretary for Provincial Affairs, myself, the town clerk, and all of you, we are here to talk about the state of affairs in the city and how best we can solve the situation. We have already made a position as council, and indeed as provincial government. He will speak on behalf of the provincial government to say people should go out of the streets. Those who are in the streets, they should be licensed. Let's go back to lawlessness. Let's be able to clean our city. In fact, our expectation was that since our economy is informal, even the informal traders where they do business, they clean around themselves. But unfortunately, the situation is so bad that we are now saying enough is enough. So I just have to end here and allow Mr. Sanyama on behalf of the provincial government to say something.
I think we are in agreement that it is very important that our city retains the tradition of cleanliness. It needs to be clean is the tradition. But if you go around this time around, I want to believe all of you will not be proud of the city. If you go to the 6th Avenue, the 5th Avenue, surely you will agree that this is not reflective of Bulawayo as a city. So we need to put together our ideas and come up with a position that leads to the cleanliness of the city. The status quo is not sustainable. Even the visitors that come, even during the night, it will be very smelly, sweat, and there are a lot of diseases that will come up. and our people will be affected. The health of our community will be affected. So really, I want to believe the agreement that we are going to make today would resolve that. Let's go back to the situation where our city is clean. We know our city is cleaner than the other cities, and we don't want to go back to join them.
Lapha sizelungisa. Siyakwazi ukuthi ama political parties lichiyene, kodwa singama political parties lonke linga ma stakeholders okubulawayo. Thina njenge council le government silibona lingabantu bakobulawayo, singabantu bani. Asikhuluma ukuhlukana kwenu lama principles zenu amabandla eno, hayi sikhuluma ukulungisa idolobha. Edolobheni lapha badala sile imkhuhlane eminingi engafika 10 engaqhamuka phakathi kwedolobha ibulala abantu bonke. Imkhuhlane ehlanganisela i-cholera, o-typhoid, i-Ebola enesabekayo kumangalisayo, yona i-COVID ekhona imningi iyafika 10. Kodwa khathesi ngokwenzakala lapha singabulala abantu. Kodwa ngalesi sikhathi ngibona sesikhulumile and sokungcono ngoba ama parties angu4 asebuyile kade sikhangela ukuthi kube labo parties angu5. Sesingaqhubeka ke kade sesinike ilokhuzeni omunye ozasinika ilokhuzeni okulandelayo.
My presentation is on the state of the city ukuthi idolobho limi njani. The first question is this the city that we want, that we are seeing as you go out or as you move or as you close your eyes now? Umcabanga ukuthi uBulawayo njani? Is that the city that you want? Is that the city that we want to create, or is that the city that we want to leave to the unborn? Because sisebenzela abangakazalwa ngalesi sikhathi ukuthi nxa sikhangela kathesi there's so much congestion edorobheni ukuthi akuhambeki, there's so much congestion, so kulengcekeza eningi all over. Izinto esile challenge lazo edorobheni khonapha ngingazibala nje ukwenzela ukuthi sikhumbuzane sonke siyazibona. Izinto ezifana le illegal vending, ukuthi you go wherever oya khona there's an illegal vendor oyabe khona edorobheni ekhonapha within the city center ezama ukuthengisa. Abanye bebase lo mlilo besosumumbu khonapha edorobheni ukuthi ku city center. Then what kind of a city is that? Sikhangela silama illegal pickup points asegcwele, ama renki silawo ukuthi izimota kumele ziyesukela emarenkini ziyethwalela abantu. Sile decentralization strategy as a council ukuthi ngabona ukuthi even ama country bus terminus silawo wonke kuma district commercial center, kodwa ama country bus terminus eNkulumane, eNtumbane, erenkini, but buses do not go there. All of them they come to the city center. We find ama buses Centenary Park. I-Centenary Park yenzela ukuthi abantu bahambe baye relaxa and regenerate, but we find now Centenary Park so kuyindawo esifana lamaranje ukuthi ungabhoda nje either ufind umuntu ezikhulula nxa usithi uyakhangela lapho or kugcwele amaphepha yonke into. That's how the city is looking like. Ukuthi nxa if we could peep there you would see what I'm talking about. Then sibe sesikhangela ku First Avenue no Paranyatwa there okuthiwa kusemagangeni so kugcwele amabhasi abegcwele khona phana amabhasi and so forth. Lawo ethwala abantu kungcola kusiba njani idorobho. Sihambe yonke imigwaqo yona lesikuyo you will find ukuthi eminye is no longer trafficable, kugcwele abantu abathengisayo kwendlaliwe umgwaqo uyathengiswa. But then the question is that the city that we want? The answer I think will come from you ukuthi yili idolobho inesilifunayo lonele. Nxa sikhangela illegal vending you will find ukuthi like we have been talking to them ukuthi as council we believe ukuthi informality is the road to formality. That's where economy is coming from, but it should be orderly. We should not have a chaos. So we are saying ukuthi ucouncil uprovidile ama base asemthethweni ukuthi people can use this base, but at the moment people are not using some of the base eziyabe zikhona. City center kathesi sile 192 base ezikhona, which you expect abantu ukuthi bahambe dark more bahambe baye applyela bangene ku waiting list baphiwe. I-total number of days ezikhona ezingalabantu khona pha koBulawayo i-10,193, and those total number of days ezinye zikusabhabheni emalokishini, because we expect abantu ababefuna ukuthenga bathenge khona ngale. Because imagine, asiyimagineni sithi le i-CBD yethu incane yona leyo. If all people who want to vend were to come here, siyama sithintane sonke. Akula space lesokuhamba. Sokungathi nje iholu imarket i-CBD. That's not the city that I think we want. So asingeneni la kuma suburban areas and singakhangela izindawo ziyakhula. I-Country Park inje isiyindawo ekhulileyo. We're trying also to ukuthi lama industry abe khona ngale Country Park. I think you saw an advert to service some industries so that it is on its own to solve the congestion, the transport, labantu bathengisele khwaphana. And the council also build ama markets kwezinye izindawo emalokishini which we call suburban. Kwakhiwa ama markets. And lakates we're working with other organizations ukuthi sifake lingakhangela enkulumane laphana a complex. There is a marvelous building that is coming up nge market senze ukuthi deliver khona phana so abantu bathenge eduzane bahambe baye thengisa lapha abangathengisa khona instead ukuthi sonke sibeni khonapha town. Sikhuluma la ngama commuter omnibuses. We have met them. You find ukuthi ungahamba usiya ko hyper khonapha ku 40th Street akusahambeki. Nxa uhamba ngemoto kumele wehle uyecela ukuthi ngicela ukudlula la uphinde ubuyele emoteni yakho. That's the situation that is obtaining there. But is that what we want? Like Utangleki has said, we have met those people and we are talking. And one of the core values of Bulawayo is consultative. Hence we are consulting now. Because the city is what we want. There's an old adage that goes, a city or an area is as good as its people or as bad as its people. So I don't think we are as bad. If what is outside is bad, I don't think we are like that. So we need to attend to those. Sikhangela even ama luxury buses. Asepungcwala yonke indawo. But it's said to be a luxury bus. But you find here bilabo windi abanengi bonke bezama ukumemezela leyo bus. But it's said to be a luxury bus. Where is supposed ukuthi abantu ngabe bayabhuka. Bangabhuka leni bus bahambe bayegada. Kufanane nje le framachini ukuthi uyayibhuka ngale kujayiswe moyo kodwa uyayigadela le e-airport uyabukwazi ukuthi ubhukhile uyagada khona ukuthi sixothane labantu even if luxury buses. Maybe I'll give an example. Sasile bus okuthiwa ngusenator. Usenator laye wangathi lapho uyathwala lapha na kwaxotshaniswana laye kwakhulunyiswana laye wasuka wavaleliswa wathi hayi mina sengisiye eBelmont sengisiyathwalela khona abantu babemlandela khona ngalo senator. I'm sure some of you lisiye South Africa you once used to senator lalimlanda khona ngale lisiyagadela khona because they became a brand ukwenzela ukuthi abantu bayegadela khona. So akulanda ukuthiwa hayi laphana kukhachana la ngaphi. That's the question. Ingaphi residential elaphana epark elithi abantu silanda abantu epark kule residential sure khona phana kumbe abantu bona banesibathwala epark basuke eCountry Park abanye enkulumane la kwezinye izindawo and so forth. Even emagamtrini khona pha kuyathiwa hayi ngale renkini kukhatha kumele ibhasi eziyahamba ngoHarare Road kumele ziye erenkini because all the facilities we have got the facilities but the people are not yet using those facilities. Kumele zihambe erenkini ziyethwalele erenkini ezihamba siye Victoria Falls zihamba la ngoNkai Road kumele zihambe ezinye zihambe ziyethwalela entumbane ezihamba ngoPlumtree Road siyale kumele zihambe ziyethwalela enkulumane district commercial center. Those are the areas that are provided. Ama facilities akhona la zone ezikhonapha ezithwala local we've got the facilities that are there but abantu bayachiya begijima besithi ay lapha kula lokhu abanye bayachiya bathi baxoxana lemshikashika ukuthi isikhona phana iyathwala khona phana. But let's make ourselves a brand. And also, let's give the enforcers the chance ukuthi ba-enforce kumshikashika leyi ikhutshwe leyo mshikashika. Kunokuthi ngaso kuthiwa sokusiyadinga imshikashika kuyadinga lama luxury buses. I'm saying this here in this meeting because the people who are here, our political parties, are the very people also who have got influence in those people as well. Ukuthi nxa sisakho Bulawayo, we expect yourselves to assist ukuthi kwakhiwe uBulawayo. So ngichilo ukuthi ama facilities akhona, ama alternative spaces akhona. Let's use those. Let's move towards and sibone ukuthi we get uBulawayo owayizolo or better than wayizolo, so that at least we become an envy of all. Wayikhonta abantu babebuya lapho uthi asambe siyebona ukuthi izinto how not to do things, but people must come here to see how things are done. That has always been uBulawayo.
Mina ngizakhuluma nge-West. I-West or iZivi, it's an idea and a decision. You decide ukuthi ipen le ngisayifuni. It becomes West at that moment when you decide that you no longer want it. And then how you dispose of it is that's when I become interested. Because you have made a decision that is West. So today we're talking to political parties or leaders of political parties. So abantu abakobulawayo, they fall into various groups, but there are those that live Bulawayo, there are those that work Bulawayo to make economic activity, and there are those that are passing through Bulawayo. All of us must be safe, and that is the responsibility of the city administration to make sure that we preserve the public health. So, and one of the things to do is to make sure that we do not have e-waste, because littering can lead to the diseases that the town clerk has been talking about. We have more than 10 diseases that are threatening to create outbreaks in the city. So we want Lina as political party leaders or membership to assist us to preserve this public health. Because abazali votela, lani lingakavotelwa lingagula life ngemkhuhlane which we can break out as a result of us not observing our public health bylaws. So those that are working, we want them to work in a safe space. And those that are living in the city, we want them to live in safe spaces, free from litter. And that litter, when the decision has been made, like I said, to say this is waste or is litter now, please place it in the correct receptacle or container for collection at the appropriate time. Izibi lezo sudecide ukuthi izibi zifake ku-container right, kungaba ligabha, kungaba liphepha, kungaba lisaka, khonokho osukusebenzisile. And then when we have done that, place it in the right place, it will be collected. Ukuhamba uyechithela izibi ku-space esiseduze lendlu yakho kumbe lendlu yomunye esikubiza ngokuthi i-dumping does not solve your problem, because you have just moved izibi lezana a few meters from your house, next to a few meters from someone else's residence or workplace, which may actually still endanger public health. So let's be conscious. Let's not be people who just throw away litter within the city anytime, anyhow. And then siyakwazi ukuthi siya ku-election lo nyaka. And then once siya ku-election lo nyaka with political parties, our decisions are really going to be made on the perception. Would you think the public will accept this or not? If I say this or don't say it, what will happen to me? But let me tell you the bottom line. The bottom line is that if it affects public health, it will still affect you even if you are not voted in or voted out. I mean, if you are voted in or voted out, you can still be affected by public health. We all know what happened the last 2 years. The whole world was shut down because public health was threatened. I-COVID yavana kuphela ukuthi lama elections babefake eceleni konke, all because of the public health which was threatened. So if we allow ourselves to be swayed by what we think is public or politically appropriate statements, we find ourselves the election yankoni ngaseko. So to ask all the cholera outbreak enkulu iyayizwe eseMalawi. If you are reading newspapers, Malawi is right in the middle of cholera as we speak. And if one can bring cholera from Malawi, afika ihlanyele koBulawayo here, and we find ourselves with an outbreak of cholera. Konke lama elections isiyabe sithi siyenzela wona uzokuthiwa postponed because of cholera. So sicela ukuthi public health be preserved in the city. It is us human beings. I'm sure there are fewer cats and dogs than us here. And the few dogs that we have here are not littering as much as us. And surely we can be better than that. Sicela ukuthi abalandeli bethu as political leaders, parties, and followers of political parties, city stick to our principles of public health and make sure that we don't endanger the health of the next person unnecessarily. Ngiyacela ukuthi city preserve that. The city ideally must be having about 25 or more refuse compactors. Unfortunately, our fleet has been depleted over the years. It's now less than 20, and with frequent breakdowns. We have something around 8 to 10 that are reliable. The others, yes, once in a while they are up and running, but they frequently break down. That is for collection of refuse from your doorstep on a schedule that we frequently share. And secondly, the collection, when it has been done, it has to get to Ilenville, and there it has to be managed properly. Unfortunately, because of a breakdown of equipment, we may not compact it as we should up there. Well, I will have to excuse the coincidence. We use the CCC in the sense that we are supposed to contain it, putting it in a cell. That's the containing part, and then we compact it and cover it when we get to Ilenville. So if we do not follow that, that's when Abe Country Park, they will be crying, basically, there are now fires at the landfill, because we would not have followed the principles there. So we appeal to you as political parties, with where you can have influence, especially those that are next to power, like members of parliament, that we need equipment to actually do that CCC that we need at the landfill. Because that way we are sure that after we have removed e-waste from Benside and it gets to Ngozi Mine, as we call it, it doesn't become a danger to Abantu Country Park when a fire breaks out. These are the things that we need. So the whole value chain of e-waste. We have got our community trackers or trucks that are from amongst the community. Some may be members of political parties without declaring so. That doesn't matter to us. Well, as long as the cat catches the mice, there's no problem. But the most important thing is they must collect the waste and get it to the landfill or to our trucks. They are assisting us. E8 trucks cannot collect the whole city. It's too wide and too big. And there's so much waste that we're generating. So we feel that e-waste management in the city is everybody's business. And where possible, let's teach abantu to separate e-waste. All these things in front of me, can one day be waste. I can find the tablet is now too old, I want to throw it away. I throw it into the bin, 30 microphone, throw it into the bin, gases into the bin, paper into the bin, this bottle into the bin. That's not the way we should do it. Let's separate the waste at source. Izithwala ungazifaka engadini ziyabona. Lenyoni zezulu zingabuya zidle. Kule mpilo zazikhona zisakhula sezintutshwana ngasezana. Maybe izithwala zonke sezingena ebhini. So we need to have that culture of separating waste at source. These things are going to help us a lot. Then secondly, to prevent diseases, especially labo abasebenzayo or those political parties or your membership that may be involved in the informal sector. If they group themselves and have committees and healthcare members or representatives, we can work with them to have a healthcare program for the vendors. We all saw what happened when we had vaccination against COVID-19. The city was doing extremely well because we were organized into sectors to say we are targeting our churches and we will have point people ukuthi abama-church sicela abe-health babuye phambili. They will get the numbers and we will vaccinate them. Next, sifuna abezikolo. Next, we are going to vendors. So even political parties were calling us to say, silomhlangano lapha siyabe sibanengi, sibona ngani kungaba labantu abafuna vaccination. We are willing to do that. And going forward, we are going to be getting a vehicle, a TB screening, a mobile vehicle with an X-ray. And when we get that vehicle, we will need people who will be gathered in an orderly fashion. Uthi kusasa abe ZAPU, umbabe MRP, umbabe CCC, umbabe ZANU PF, banomhlangano endaweni enje. We suspect we may have some TB cases amongst them. Line up, please. Iroliye khona ngale. It parks there. You are screened properly. But we have to know who you are, where you are, and how many you are, and when you will be where you are. In time, place, and person, that's how we usually call it in epidemiology. So, sicela ke ukuthi sisebenze ndawonye. Health is a responsibility for everybody. Abanye, you are wearing a political party today jacket, but kusasa uyavuka umfundisi ngala. Omnye headmaster. So we need all of us in all our sectors. Because health ayila timetable. Nxa usugula even ngo3 ekseni akusosikhathi sokulala so isikhathi sokugula. So everyone must act. So ngiyabonga cela assistance from everybody. Thank you very much.
To enforce the bylaws by using minimum force. That's why we have been engaging, so that people understand where we are coming from, and the people really disperse, go to areas where we expect them to be. Like we indicated earlier on, the city center, we have got some vending bays, and we are expecting a vending base to be occupied by people who come from Ward 1, or those people who are already vending. And we expect everyone who is vending in the city, like we're saying, we have got 10,000 vending bays out there which are not utilized. People should go there and occupy those vending bays. People will come, once we show people that there is no one here and then a business is now to be done in suburban areas, people will come there. Let's help each other move people, decongest the city and make people go to suburban areas. And I can tell you the other problem is the biggest problem that we are having at the moment. We have got static vendors who are local. We have got other vendors who are mobile, who can be coming from any city or from anywhere outside Bulawayo. These are the most problematic vendors because they don't even have accommodation. They sleep there in 5 Africa. And the device that is there is alarming. And what has been happening in all the cities, people were first driven from Harare. They kept moving to Kwekwe, to Kweru, and now they've found their home in Bulawayo. Those who don't belong here, who are sleeping here, please, we have no accommodation for you. Those who want to settle in Bulawayo, in respective wards, sell from there. There are some vending bays there. We accept anyone from any part of the country, for as long as you want to settle in Bulawayo in an orderly manner. We don't segregate people in terms of language or in terms of where you come from. But we don't want lawlessness. We don't want imported lawlessness. If you come and want to settle in Tumbani, you are coming from Wanke, you find a place to vend from there. If you have settled in Penside, find a vending stall there. You cannot come and want to vend here in the city center. City center is for business, and a formal business that is. That is why we are saying get registered and you get these things that are not occupied now. We recognize you as a formal business, and then you are supposed to be here or out. Thank you. Then we can have contributions from political parties now.
That I'm here as the Member of Parliament, not as a political party representative. I represent residents across the city of Bulawayo, in Bulawayo Central Constituency, who come from multiple political parties, actually. And I think that it's very sad that you've, as a council administration, have now got another layer, which we call the provincial government, and political players to solve a problem which is your council administration problem. 100% it's a council administration problem. You yourselves have said that you have bylaws. I can give you many instances across the city where bylaws are obviated and never enforced. You cannot talk about enforcers if, in fact, there are none to enforce those bylaws. The Director of Health has spoken about the potential health hazard. I recently did a cleanup campaign at Hillside Shopping Centre. And I want to assure you that the refuse in the essentially sanitary lane between the two sides of that shop, where there's very little informal trading, in fact, is appalling. There was an accumulation of refuse being dumped, yes, by residents, on the corner, which was seldom cleared. Now that I cleared it and made a fuss about it, I see it's now regularly cleared. I think that to simply encapsulate a problem which has been developing in Bulawayo with the population, with the movement of the population, and with the use of the CBD more and more for informal trading and not for formal trading, actually, because for multiple reasons you've made it more difficult, actually, for formal trading in the CBD. You've encouraged a situation, actually, where formal traders are moving out of the CBD into the suburbs. And therein will lie more complications for you ultimately. A lot of the health hazard, quite frankly, comes from the lack of public toilets in this city, and that is not a new phenomenon. That is something that has developed again over time. People are fouling everywhere in terms of public urination, which is a crime, if I'm not mistaken, and those issues. So to me, to now describe this as something that political parties can resolve for you, I'm at a loss. And as to the thing about, I agree, if we were serious about recycling in the city, and we had been more serious for longer, our refuse volumes would be considerably less. If you look in refuse being cleared, these plastic PET bottles constitute huge amounts of the waste. Had we dealt with that, not now when it's a crisis, but had we dealt with that some time back, as has been done, for example, at Bradfield Shopping Centre, where there are the bins for people, and it works very successfully. People deposit these bottles and those things which can be recycled in those bins, and the recycling companies collect. I also think that as administrators, you've failed also to think outside the box. I spoke to a gentleman the other day who's a peri-urban smallholder farmer who does pigs. He at one time was collecting the vegetable waste for his pigs. He was given so much problems by the council, he stopped. Why not have engaged them and got them to assist you with that kind of refuse clearing? Because it's a value to them and it's a help to you. I think that there are solutions that we're not looking for. I also see, which as a person who used to go to Kutama, when it was in the CBD, this side, that it is working where you've moved it by the sports club, by Highlanders. Why has it never been possible to utilize some of the open spaces, like the space on the other side of Masocha and Glovu, to create the bus rank, to create those things which have placed the pressure on the CBD? For me, that's thinking outside the box. I think that mushrooming of issues has been simply allowed to be rampant. The issue along the Centenary Park, I've been complaining about that for more than 2 years. The only time it was resolved was when it was done by the ZAPU, and it was a moment in time. It was done a couple of times, and then it goes back to what it is. that is an infringement, surely, of traffic laws. Not just bylaws, but traffic laws. Why is it in Bulawayo it is so difficult for law enforcement, either at bylaw level or at ZRP level, for laws to be enforced before it becomes a crisis? And as far as I'm concerned, it's an issue that affects the residents across the city, whether they live in the CBD or whether they come from Intambani or wherever they're coming from. And the other economic fact is, if I want to sell something, I will come to where the customers are. And so if you tell me, sorry, no, you can only sell your product in Intambani and there's no customers, I'm not going to sell it there. I'm going to look for a place where I can sell it. So these, for me, are the issues that I see today. I'll be very interested to hear what the political parties have got to say, if anything. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a council administrative issue. And I also want to say about the provincial government that this morning I had a meeting with the provincial roads engineer. And it strikes me that as city council, the minute you then go up and you put another layer, more confusion arises and less things happen.
I'm El Chikuni from ZANU PF, Secretary for Health. I don't know. You said you consult before you put your riot act that you said by Wednesday people will be out from the streets. But then I thought since you had actually called this meeting to consult, it was much better for you at first for consult before putting out that order to say by Wednesday people will be kicked out from the streets. And if you check, one, the city council, I don't know whether you have it, you are supposed to have a site where farmers comes in and put their agricultural produce. They sell there to our vendors, but I haven't seen any. So anyone who is a farmer like me, I also can bring in my produce directly to the farmer, to the vendors, because I don't have a place where I'm supposed to go and sell those produce. Like if you visit other towns like Harare, Mbare, they have a site where their trucks, they go and park. Vendors, they come there and buy the produce. One. Then, and I'm looking, you said you want to make sure by Wednesday people will be out. You have already done a budget to do that. Why can't you take that budget or that money to service or maintain the roads, since there are so many potholes? And we are also checking on our refuse collection. It's not being done nicely. And we also have the problem of water. I don't know if we channel that money before we engage into this. I think it would be also very nice.
Comrade, we are not talking about water here. We are talking of the dirt and the lawlessness. We are talking of water and the lawlessness. We want to clean the city. This is where we want to talk about. Don't tell us to take the budget of cleaning the city to do the water. And what if people die?
No, yes, this is a noble idea.
Okay,
if you want to,
I had understood you
health, yes.
When you said, why have you come up with a timeline when you are actually consulting? That one is not an issue. If we are talking here as stakeholders, a timeline, it was written by us. It can be changed by us with a contribution. Contribute on the issue of timeline. Don't contribute on the issue of people fouling. You are saying people, you are coming as a farmer, you want to sell to the streets. It's not allowed. We have got a lot of wholesalers. Wholesalers are crying that you are undercutting them. You are not selling your produce to the wholesalers so that they also sell to these vendors, so that they are able to pay their staff. They are paying rent to council. They are paying their staff. Now they are failing to pay rent, and they are demobilizing. They are reducing their staff. because you are competing them illegally. So if you are doing that, these are the people that you are looking for.
Yes.
And that will stop.
Yes, I agree with you on that one, because what we want a clean city.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, you don't have enough sites. How many wholesalers do we have?
We have so many, my friend.
In town.
In town, we have so many wholesalers. They are not getting any takers. You are going to the streets. They want you to go and sell to them. And we have opened others in suburban areas, and we have areas which are free, where you can actually come and rent to us and say, I want to open a wholesale. People will come to you, and you buy from there. We are a planning authority, and we have a platform where in town planning, where you can talk to town planning, and they give you the rules of the game, how you can trade legally. But you simply don't want to pay, because you know when you go to the wholesale, you might not be able to pay you cash, and maybe you will want to pay you in RTGS. But when you go there and you have the real takers there, vendors, they take, and your other broken produce, you just dump them in the street there, and then you go away. You are paying nothing to government by way of tax, because if you go to the wholesalers, you will have to pay tax there. You are paying nothing to council. So you are just making money and just go away. It's very dangerous, my friend. And I'm sorry, you are coming from a ruling party, which should lead by example.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is,
yes,
we need enough sites. Where you come and collect.
Come and ask for a site for
not particularly
for
me.
Yeah.
I was giving this as a reference, not particularly me to say I should not pay, no. But what I'm saying, if you go there at the markets there, you actually see some big lorries there, trucks carrying those produce. So what I'm saying, I even interviewed some of them to say, why are you here? Then they said, show us some sites where we are going to park. If we can have those sites, then it's fine to us.
All right. You are here, maybe you can pass that message. We have got a lot of those areas. A lot of those areas where they can buy, a lot of those areas where we can give you to say, okay, have your space and sell to the vendors, and you pay us at least something, rather than going to the street and offload there and pay nothing.
Yeah, so the people are not aware of what you are telling me, that you have got a lot of those sites where where the farmers can go and park and sell.
That is known, my dear friend, that is known, but there are some people who are simply undercutting, and it's convenient for them to do business that way. But areas are plenty plus. And I can tell you, if we are not only bringing all these things here, people will not come here. If we were to take all these things that we dump by the roadside, take them to the suburban areas, people will not come here.
Then you talked about more than 10,000 bays that we have.
Yes.
But in the streets there are more than the 10,000. We are saying there are more. We have got about more than 15,000.
Yes.
In the streets.
Yes.
I thought maybe it was nice to first of all to engage the vendors, to say we are going to relocate you. Once they are told we are going to relocate you to these sites, before...
Right, my friend. These vendors who are there are illegal. We have got our office, Dark Mall, where you go and apply, and they indicate where you stay. And then we give you to say there are some places here, go there and sell. But because most of the vendors here are mobile vendors, they don't belong here. That's why they will not go anywhere, because they stay nowhere. And in any case, council cannot give base to all the vendors, 15,000 of them. We will only give vendors that size that we can afford. And some, of course, will not get the size, unfortunately. That is the unfortunate side of it all. But if if about 10,000 people get those stalls there, and we agree as stakeholders here to advertise and promote selling of farm produce there in the southern areas. People will go there. People will no longer will now not bother going to Five Avenue because they know they can't find vegetables there. They will know when I'm staying in Tumbana, I go to Tumbana, I'll get vegetables. So there are so many stalls. 10,000 is a big number, my dear friend. To start with, we have 10,000 stalls unoccupied, and we have got 10,000 illegal vendors vending on the streets. It's unheard of. That we cannot allow. This is what we are saying. There is nothing in the ordinary that we are saying. We are simply saying there is no vending here. Go and find space where there is vending, a vending stall, and do your business there. If you can't, then unfortunately you are going to be out. And we want you also here as stakeholders to help us help these people. And in helping people, there is a problem when you want to help a person against himself or herself. A person can be a danger to himself or herself. This is the situation that we have here. These people are not capable of being helped because we have indicated we have got base, we have got vending base elsewhere where they can trade. And this situation that you find obtaining in 50th Avenue, when did they invade? When people were being deployed there, we tried to stop that thing. But it continued to spread. And before then, what was the situation? How were people surviving? So this thing is a creation which we can stop. This is something that you can do away with. It doesn't follow to say if we are no longer selling wares here, they cannot be sold elsewhere. So this is exactly what we are trying to do.
Yeah, I agree. They have to be sold elsewhere, but we also have to check on the population. Bulawayo, the people, the population is growing, and against the background that we used to be some years ago, and especially if you go to at the market, people that are squeezed themselves because they don't have even enough place where they can sell. I was suggesting maybe if you give them those bases, that they were the ones that you said more than the 10,000 first, then you also check the balance. Where are we going to put these ones?
No, my friend. I've said stands are there. It's not for me to come and give you a stand. We are saying stands are there. Come and apply for them if you are serious. And we cannot, as a government, go around looking for vendors to give stands. Yet we have indicated that we have stands. All what you want is the information where the stands are.
Yes.
And they go and apply there.
Ukuze ukuthi uMthwakazi Republic Party ekhokhela ngomqondisi moya. Siyabona. Bengicela ukubuza ukuthi njengoba likhuluma ngamavenda, kade ngubani lo wadeploya amavenda ukuthi abe khona? Umbuzo wami oqala. Ibese siyabuza kuClerk lapha. uClerk ngicabanga ukuthi abantu njengoba bebaningi kangaka edolobheni lakoBulawayo, ama-toilet elikhuluma ngawo ukuthi ngama-public toilet abonakala e-City Council eselokhuzenini elokhuzenini la esitholo. Itown yonke leyi ama-toilet abantu abazihambelayo uma umuntu efuna indawo e-public awakho ama-toilet anjalo. Njalo futhi bese ngibuya ngicele laphana isicelo sami njengoba bengisizwa ukukhuluma phambili laphana. Kungani kuyabalekwa so. Mali khuluma liyabaleka lingakhuluma iqiniso ukuthi yibapha abantu abale problem ezitaladeni. Ku5th Avenue abantu abakhona lapha abantu beZANU-PF. Akufanele ubhodi ukuthi wathi. Kufanele sikhuluma iqiniso. Sakhuluma last time, sabuya last year la. Kwakhulunywa into efana na wathi abantu abanabasuswe. La khathesi lokho bengakasuswe. So into engifuna lokho ikhulunywa lokho kukhulunywa kutshintsha itopic, kufakwe itopic. Itshintshwe ifakwe kokunye kungani kuyabalekelwa. Abantu kufanele baxoxe vele abale problem.
abantu abadeploy eZANU-PF ku5 Street lapha liqinisele khona esilaziyo mhlophe esingasoze sitshone sibhoda siya ngapi lapha sesikhulumela ukulala loba sikhulumelani sikhulumela iqiniso la kubulawa ukuthi sifuna ukuthi ubulawa benjani singabhodani sitshelane nemaqiniso ende futhi i-city council ngilusizi kiyoma ilokhu ikhuluma ngendaba zokuthi abantu kufanele basebenze njani igodini nasiya iqiniso azange lavela kukhulunywa amanga every day lokho ngizakukhuluma kunjengoba kunjalo ngenxa ukuthi thina njengabantu besintwini asila amagama ukuthi sikhulume sengathi loba siya bhode ezinye izinto ngoba cause laphana egodini laphana lahlela kahle kwathiwa kuzalungiswa igodi kwagijinyiswa ku social media but esikubona phakathi akusikho esikukhwabitha esakutshengiswayo njalo futhi into esisenzakala kathesi abantu bonke kathesi umuntu ephelelwa ngumsebenzi ucabanga ukuyathengisa emgwaqweni why umuntu ecabanga ukuyathengisa emgwaqweni it's just because of futhi city council into ezenzayo phandle la kubuhlungu kakhulu uyathola iline yonke kusenzwa into elihlazo umuntu ekhipha imali ukuthi abe safe ngaleso sikhathi so besicela ukuthi into yonke likhuluma imali futhi liclean ubulawayo kuyele endaweni yenzanini into esegcekeni ebonakalayo kubona that's why thina nje MRP asikhulumi manga sikhuluma iqiniso every day sizama ukuthi sibonise abantu ungathanda umuntu ngamanga umuntu ungamtshela into engamanga ngesikhathi esingayisiso umuntu akatshela iqiniso abelazi iqiniso njalo belikhuluma athi simhlonishwa sithi abantu babevela from phezulu lebe siza ngabe emashonaleni besiza ngabe emathebeleleni uhluphe silalo ngabantu besishoneni njalo limzulu esoyikhuluma ubaba ukhuluma kahle ngodaba lakho lokuthi waye kunganikezwa indawo ukuthi ama truck abuye apake athengisele abantu impaya athengisele abantu izinto thina njalo sisuka khona apha enkayi khona i-government is failing to give us indawo ama-plaza ukuthi si-produce something esingakusondeza etown
hayi kanye wothi kuba bomlomo
okay mhlonishwa
usudigressa kakhulu
okay
asiko ekhansili lokho
alright ngixoxa udlule
khuluma okuqondene lekhansili
okay mhlonishwa njengoba kathesi sikhuluma ngodaba lona lolu esikhuluma ngalo olokuthengisa lona loluyana yiluhluphe esilalo ngabantu besishoneni mabebuya lapha babuya belengqondo ukuthi benze angifuni ukuthi mbhode mhlonishwa khuluma inhliziyo ngakho konke okwenzakala lobo mhlonishwa
lokho akukho emthethweni nasize kuvumele lokho
yebo
lapha sizelungisa lokho ize uyazi ungangcono ukhulume ngendawo yomuntu ovela khona ungakhulumi ngomhlobo hayi ezomhlobo thina lapha kuCouncil ngoba thina lapha kuCouncil izigovernment yabantu zigovernment yabantu amandebeli amatonka amashona amavenda bonke abantu so thina into ezomhlobo lapha eCouncilini hayi asizibambi
okay ngicela ukuthi ngiqondise kwamphana njalo beseli incelile udaba esikhuluma ngalo abantu abayibo abathengisa lokhu kudla ade ukukhulunywa ngobaba besicela nje city council imali senza umthetho liyenze ngendlela okufanele kwenziwe ngakhona ngoba kathesi sikhuluma ngodaba lona lolo ulengcekeza lapha iadvice okufanele ibe khona njengoba lizulu umhlonje ekhuluma esithi yena indawo le kufanele ibe enhle kakhulu ubulawayo thina nanthe ngizalwa angizalelwanga khatshana kwakubulawayo but ngizalelwe kogodla omnyama and futhi ubulawayo bengimazi kwindawo enhle kakhulu ecacileyo ebonisayo indawo ebonisa ubuntu ngazonke izikhathi but khathesi into eyenzakalayo i-city council besicela iyenze lokho kufanele kwenze njalo futhi lamabhase nala likhuluma ngawo besicela ukuthi abantu abaplana ngalawo mabhase bacabange lokuthi kuleyo ndawo bafaka khona kule business yini njalo futhi abantu bayafinyelela ngesikhathi kuleyo ndawo so ngokunye sikucelayo for i-city council ukuthi loba isilungisele khonoko ngendlela eright ngiyabonga kakhulu
kanye
yebo mhlonishwa
ngicela ukutshela one thing ibusiness abantu bayalanda ibusiness nxa into zihlelwe kuhle abantu sebekwazi into zithengwa ngapi abantu babuya laphana ngoba bakwazi itholakala khona nxa ngase bekwazi ukuthi into zitholakala entumbana abantu bazabuya entumbana ngoba thina esikufunayo hani sikhuluma nge decongestion nge-decentralization sithi iyenzana likwenza entumbane abe eBenside la benza abakwenza eBenside lapha abathengisa lapha kube ngabantu abasuka kwamba ku-ward 1 into leyo ayibe ward based and sizaliprotecta lina elikhala ukuthi kulabanye abantu abavela kwezinye indawo ngoba thina nxa ngase sinika vele lamabheyi sikhangela ukuthi kade wena vele umuntu wakobulawayo yini are you resident in Bulawayo asingeke siphongunika nje amabheyi ukuthi ungavile edark mall laphana ufuna ukuthola ibheyi uvele wanke bese sikunika sisathi sikunikela phela thina sikhangela abantu bakobulawayo si-council abantu bakobulawayo angithi aso national council city council
Mina nge-CCC Citizen Coalition for Change. Ngingukwanele Bhangu. Into engicela ukuthi ngizwisise ukuthi lapha koBulawayo kuthiwa kule doti yanti. Kube sokuthiwa izimota ziyashota. Kube sokuthiwa ngicela ukuthi noma baba ungathi singena ku government ngicela ungivumele ngitsho engikutshoyo. Lapha koBulawayo alila mali eliyivusayo esebenzayo esingathi imali ye devolution elisuka lihamse phezulu le ibuya inganani yona ukuthi izosebenza lapha phansi yikho nje emfuna ukuthi ngikubuze yikho bese ngigezelela futhi egodini laphana likhuluma ngo6 Avenue ukuthi imigwaqo igcwele laphana igodi laphana satshelwa ukuthi I think it was kuleminyaka kuthiwa lizabe liphelile ngicela ukwazi ukuthi egodini laphana igodi lizalilungisa nini ukuthi likhuphe imchova yonke laphana egcwele laphana ibuyele iyengena phakathi egodini kwakulozukho laye owayekhona sicela ukubuza ukuthi konke khonokho njenge city council lenzani ukuthi liclear abantu abakhona bayisebenzela laphana egodini njalo abantu abanye elizabe sikhulume ngalabo abaka 5 Avenue ngibona ngani bazathintwa ngumuntu wonke laba abantu abaku 5 Avenue sicela ukuthi i-city council abantu bayadubeka kabasebenza ndi bafakiwe khophana kodwa lelama bylaws ekumele lwasebenzisa ndi sicela ukuthi lenze umthetho nxa kulokunye okuyi-incentive okumele ukuthi abantu bakubhadale kuma bails bengahlali mahara babhadale something bathengisa abantu bathole ukuphila
silalele ngithi ngilalele silalele njengoba iCouncil isibizile siyabonga ukuthi lisibize kuqhakathekile khona ukuthi lisibize sengathi singahlala sibizana kodwa lapho kulephutha khona ukuthi lisibize embizene siliphekela idla layiqeda lisibize ukucimeni bekungenani ngabe kade lisibize liseselama venda lathi sabeza ukuthi bathini ngoba khathesi sesizathi sithi siyakhuluma kade ayisikho abakukhulumileyo andithi singama stakeholders as stakeholders let us take each other into confidence lathi besifisa ukuba kwazi ukuthi batheni amavenda besifisa ukuba kwazi batheni abamani abezimota ngithi besifisa ukuba kwazi ukuthi planning yena eliyenzayo naleyo libonani linokumele kube khona okumele kwenzakale but angithi alizange lisifake ukuthi sibe kwazi so what is more important now is that this was a first meeting siyafisa ukuthi ingabe siyaqhubeka sihambe sonke lingahambi lodwa kulula uyakwazi ukuthi nxa ngulalele dube uyachiselwa kubuhlungu kodwa uchisela wedwa ngiyafisa ukuchiselwa lawo kodwa akangikwazi ukuthi uchiseliswa yikuyini ngoba kade ngiyeke so into esiyifisayo ukuthi simuzwe sonke uBulawayo ekhuluma singama stakeholders bese sizothi mase sihlangana la sesivumelana ngokuthi kade uBulawayo mbani ukhulume kuhle wathi wena awuso national council ngithi ukhanya ngani problem yethu yi national la iproblem oyikhulume ku5 Avenue national sayibeka ibe njalo nje so ku devolution uhleze eceleni kwakho uthe ngumsecretary for devolution ngithi ku devolution besifisa ukuthi sibone iBulawayo as a metropolitan province ngithi ile budget eproper ila lokho ekwenzelwa igovernment right because it seems like iBulawayo iyantsara idonsa nzima ngestaff sayo lesa ngithi kodwa istaff sakhona singahambisani labanye amahofisi sekhanya semaningi kakhulu kodwa kawabekwanga ngama tiers ukuthi oCouncil abangenza lokho bachiye la ubani uyathatha la aselaphana iproblem esilayo is not lack of anything else but lack of implementing ama policies amahle esilawo mahle sibulama policies esilawo inhle sibili structure ye government esilayo but ayisebenzi because we have the devolution minister uyabuya la yenza ama-programs akhe nomunye ayenza awakhe ama-programs ake sisebenzeni as tiers of government sisebenzisaneni we will come to a conclusion yento ekhanyayo uBulawayo uyavuka alunge lokho sekwenzakele is a national problem futhi ukuthi uthole sokugcina abantu edrobheni. It's because industries are dead koBulawayo. Afile ama-industries, they closed. Amanye ahamba aya kwamanye ama-cities angithi. We want one day to be able to attract back investors. Or either create investors or entrepreneurs. This is what we should be talking about. Our political parties here angithi. Singakhulumi ngantu asiphonguba ngabantu nje. We are planning the economy of the future. And if we are planning the economy of the future, ekugcineni kakungatshisela umuntu oyedwa akasitshisele sona. Ngiyabonga.
Isibongo mbani?
Unkala Kanisha.
Nkala, okay.
Director of Finance South Office.
Thank you very much. My name is Chelesile Mahlangu, MP Phumula. As much as
Yebo MP Phumula besingakubonanga mama sekwemukela mama njengommeli wethu eParliament.
yeah, as much as we really appreciate indlela elikubeka ngayo pertaining the issue of cleanliness, like what the speaker said, Secretary we-Health, we need to clean Bulawayo. I'll talk about ama vendors outside Bulawayo. The reason why it triggered utility want cleanliness all over is just because of what is happening on 5 Avenue. My plea to City Council is for those that are outside CPD, like my location, allocating ama base so that maybe they pay a certain fee rather than what you arrest them, harass them, and ngoba labana abantu, most of them, like those that are vending, like Emma shops, ngabantu aba within ama area abo. Instead, ubaba owe health try to teach them what after they have done whatever they have done or they should keep that place clean so that singabi lama problems whereby kuqhamuke imikhuhlane eminingi. Problem esilayo eningi ngeka 5 Avenue not emalokishini. I thank you.
Cleanliness comes from the action that we do the first thing in our homes in the morning. Most of us, you stay in Phumula South, but you have got your daughter or a son who learns at Milton High School or at Milton Primary School or at Cogley. Do you know the person who takes that child in the morning to school is a mshikashik? And that person, when they drop your child at school, they have nothing to do. They become a menace in town. Instead of going back to Phumula, the next thing that he does, he takes his kombi or mshikashika to Mahachula, to Benside. We have already created that. Then the next thing, the mother of that child, at 10 o'clock, instead of buying ishukela or bread in Phumula, she starts looking for a kombi or mshikashika to come to town to buy a loaf of bread. Then I have got a car or a Honda Fit. I see you standing at 9 a.m. on the road. You want to go and buy sugar in town. The next thing, I see an opportunity. I take you to town. Then you see what happens now. The system which is in town becomes flooded because there are a lot of people who are not supposed to be in town, who are in town. Then those vending bins, like what the town clerk has said, those 10,000, no one is using them because all of us are in the CBD. And the person who is a vendor, who is in Muganwini, instead of selling there, she has seen you going into town. And when you come back from town, you have got your loaf of bread. And on top of that, you now have cabbage. She says, but these people are buying in town. Let me follow them in town. Then they come here into town. But that issue now, it may even have to go to central government. We are lucky that we are present. Let's go to the old system where our children are supposed to attend schools in the wards where we live. So that if our child, if I'm staying in Muganwini, my child should not be at Makete. My child should be at that school in Muganwini. If you believe that, because that school in Muganwini is not giving us proper education, let me take my child to Cogley. Why don't you support that school in the ward that you live? Those teachers will do an excellent job. So that you see this issue, even the issue of toilets, because you've brought in your young sister to take that child to school and they're supposed to finish at 12.
That child, that young sister of yours whom you have sent to town, she has nothing to do. She'll spend the whole day in town. Then the system, the toilets, like what we have referred to, the refuse collection, is now burdened because there are other people who are not supposed to be in town. That
All
would be my
right.
contribution.
Thank you very much, Mateba. You said your name is?
P. Madziviri.
Matsiveli. You are contributing like a politician and a minister to be. We expect leaders like yourselves. Don't try to please people over nothing. People should know what is good for them and what is good for governance, what is good for everyone.
Gama Mumtomba, Secretary General of ZANU PF of Bulawayo. Into engifuna ngama-part utshengisa a lot of maturity. Uma abantu bekhuluma nge-one voice pertaining uBulawayo. uBulawayo waba khona before parties. Ukuthi khona uBulawayo is going to outlive ama-parties. Sonke singama-residents akoBulawayo. Thina sesingama-senior residents akoBulawayo. Ngizalelwe eMpilo, ngifunde eMasuku eChabalala, ngafunde eHlathi. So ngingwalapha koBulawayo, akula elinye idolobho engilaziyo ngaphandle kwani kwakoBulawayo. Therefore uBulawayo wayehlanzeke okumangalisayo. But uBulawayo wakhula, i-industry yashrinka. Abantu now they are into informal. So kwenzekele yes, so kulama-vendors all over idolobho. Ngikora sonke siyavuma ukuthi idolobho lethu selingcolile. Idolobho lethu kumele liclean, libe enhle. At the same time, sibona futhi njalo ukuthi abantu labo kanjani bayaphila lezi muli zabo. Ona lama vendors abanye abahlezi khonapho lafundiswa ngemali yevending. Singabe safundiswa ngemali yevending, especially abantwana abazalwa ama-2K. Thina kudala sasasebenza ema-industry, but abakathesi baphila ngakhonoko. So into lapha ngibona ngani sonke siyavumelana ukuthi we need to restore i-cleanliness yakoBulawayo. Ingaba yindawo yokuthi how are we going to do that? Engxenye ngibona ngazani sikhutheke khonapho ukuthi khona sizakwenza njani ukuze uBulawayo kanjani ahlanzeke.
Jona Mtombuti senzeni.
Mina ngibona angani ukuze into le sibambe kahle, i-council ingaba ile ndlela yayo. Lathi silomlando as political leaders, ngoba abantu labana abavendayo they belong to different political parties. Azifundiseni abantu ngokuhlanzeka, kuqhakathekile khonokho. Lapho vela khona akube indawo ehlanzekileyo, lapho yasebenzela khona akube indawo enjani ehlanzekileyo njalo. Sizabakhipha, i-council izabakhipha bazakuya kwenye indawo kungcole futhi uma ungela education. So we need a cleanliness awareness campaign serious lapha koBulawayo. Ngingazi ukuthi i-direction of that program izasuka ku-devolution ministry isebenza le-council and it filter to political parties. Sikhulume labantu bethu ngendaba elokuzana ne-cleanliness. Ngoba ku-50 lapha la kuJason Moyo, if you go there, it's a health hazard. Uzibuza ukuthi kanti laba ngabantu abadengisayo kube umuntu obuzodampa ebusuku abantu belele. Uyazi uzibuza umbuzo lo izibo zibonayo ukuthi hayi izibile ayisozayizolo lezi. They've accumulated over time. Kanti into ehluphayo ngokukhipha izibi yikuyini? Ngabantu labo yina abathengisela la paramele bakhipha izibi, kumbe i-responsible authority emele ikhipha izibi, kumbe labo abantu labana should be engaged bancedise i-responsible authority ukuthi indawo lani ihlala njani ihlanzekile. So ngibona ngazani sonke silomlando okunceda ukuze idolobho leli lihlale njani lihlanzekile.
Undamanzana ngivela ku CCC ngihlala eMagwegwe. Ngizakhuluma, I think okunenkosi okukhulunywa but ngithatha indaba lawlessness lapha koBulawayo. Kukhulunywe ngendaba yamabhasi, that's number 1. Kukhulunywe ngendaba kulenye indaba also that I think ukuthi kumele kukhulunywe ngayo, indaba ezimota ezihamba zingelama number plates. Mina I am happy ukuthi kulo representative we central government, because part of the blame according to me goes to them. Angikwazi ukuthi mbani owaqala into yokuthi imota zabantu begovernment izimota zama-CIO kumele zihambe zingenama number plates, because right now we have got a problem yokuthi everyone now thinks ukuthi he can just remove ama-number plates ahambe without ama-number plates, and now even the law enforcers abasakwanisi ukuthi ba-enforce umthetho, because there are people who are bullies in this city and they use the name of either the government or the ruling party. I'm here kulama representative, I'm also happy kulama representatives our ruling party. That should also be condoned, and that should also come to an end. Ama buses wana lawana. The problem also why even the law enforcers are failing to enforce the law is because the owners of those buses relate with a certain political party, and that is very bad. Ama police abayahamba lapana, umuntu uyafika kutshela ukuthi hayi mani ngifonela umnikazi webus, and then a big name is mentioned. All of a sudden ama police abasela manje. So I think ukuthi that also should be corrected. If kuyikuthi kulo umthetho kumele ufanane kungela ndaba lokuthi ngubani ibhasi yakho nangekabani, the same applies even to amakhombi wona lawana. Kula makhombi ukuthi vele even amapolice they know ukuthi they are untouchable. Uyachova any day any uyachova any route, akula any order. So I think that should be corrected, and I'm happy the central government here is here, and also even those ones from the ruling party, whether abantu bona labana bayakwenza ngabo kumbe abala any blessing from that party is something else, but that is what is happening. Then I'm proposing also a town clerk ukuthi ngendlela engibona ngayo, I think amabhini also in town malutshwana. I was proposing ukuthi maybe fuma kusenza lingezelela amabhini, and there should also be a serious fine. I don't know how that is going to be done on littering. Ukuthi abantu abasebenza lapha basenzela khona kube le fine serious ukuthi umuntu engakubona ulahle even ipaper kumbe whatever, that there should be some kind of control on that, because if a person cannot be controlled by kuchelwa, then the law should be enforced to make sure ukuthi umuntu if ingakwanisa ukuthi ukwenze wena wedwa, at least ukwenforce ukuthi ukwenze. So I think kulabantu laba ba collect ama izimali ze parking, I don't know if it's possible ukuthi maybe those people can also be given umlando ukuthi whenever they see a person littering, babe lendlela ezokuthi either they babambe nalo muntu kumbe kube le any way of making sure ukuthi abantu bona labana they are abantu bonke abayenza littering they are controlled. Yiwo ama suggestions ami ngiyabonga.
Mina ngikholete Ndlovu we-CCC. Ngizwile lapha likhuluma sibili zonke izikhuluma but sizama i-solution. Njengama political parties ngibona ngani kuba lobunzima ngoba abanye yona into okuthiwa ibylaw babengayazi ukukhulunywa ngani, but okusalayo ukuthi abantu abasemsebenzini ngibona ngani babalalayo emsebenzini wabo, ngoba asingeza ke sithi thina sile security yethu koBulawayo, security wethu ayichaywa ezama ukuenforcer afika chaywe ngabantu elibaziyo ukuthi asiboba lapha, ngoba akulamuntu ongakwaziyo ukuthi abantu laba soba lapha, ngoba lo masuka la abantu bakhona uyabakhuza bengababala ama house numbers asikwazi ukuthi bahlala. So nxa sihamba lapha na sithi thina sesiyabakhuza, sibakhuza njani abantu abangahlali koBulawayo abalala ema street? Akulamuntu ongakwaziyo, abanye balala ko chicken inn balengubo zabo khona phana ebusuku yabathola belele khona phana labantwana. So ke thina sikubonayo ukuthi i-council kayisebenzi, i-council yiyo engasebenzi. Nxa lisithi abantu labana bangena ngoJuly, ate sesiyalanda omunye uJuly, lizongena i-full council every month. Udirector we-health ka report ukuthi mphongo uthola abantu bebutheni, uyekelwe kuphela kunjalo, ngoba kufanele ukuthi kulimangaliso ukuthi kade abantu laba baphonga ungena emzini wethu bavuka bekhona. Even emakhaya usobhuka ngaza akabona abantu begcwele bephonga uvuka besendaweni yakhe,
avuke ezithulele. Asoze sirani iBulawayo njenge growth point. iBulawayo kufuze ibe exemplar. Simeke sure ukuthi imithetho iyasetshenziswa. uBulawayo nguye kade clean ukudlula iHarare langaphi. But now idote lapha koBulawayo esabeka ngabantu abangahlalela. Amapolisa kungathiwa kule Mthwakazi namhla kule court yeMthwakazi wabona begcwele lapha. But ukuthi basebenze izinto ezinjengalezi abantu bechaya abantu abasemsebenzini abakwanisa ukusebenza izinto ezinjalo. Kuyaye ukuze ukuthi amapolisa ase ngoba iCouncil ilama powers to arrest. Amapolisa lihambe lawo lihlangane lekwenza umsebenzi lilamapolisa. Lana ukuthi kuthiwe kungathiwa kule Mthwakazi ngale court yathola begcwele amapolisa amanye ongazi ukuthi abevela ngoba siyabona khona amaningi lapha. But why bengancedisa ezintweni zonezi ezabantu abagangayo koBulawayo? So esikucelayo town clerk lingahamba lilodwa bazalitshaya ngoba lina lama powers to arrest bazalitshaya. So kufanele ukuthi lani liyinvolve amapolisa liye clean uBulawayo lilamapolisa ngoba bona banama powers to arrest. Yikho ukuthi simlungisa uBulawayo. Enye into nxa siyibona njengoBulawayo singaphuzi ukuthi kungathatha 89 months liloke libukela abantu bezokwenza intando yabo phakathi komuzi wabanye abantu. Bafike lapha bazokwenza intando yabo phakathi komuzi wethu. Thina sibe lokho sibabukela. So beloke sikhangela ukuthi kade iCouncil bani bese sibone ngalama elections ephuzile ukuthi engxe singafaka iCouncil ebukhali ekwazi into eyenzayo ngoba singeza ke sibukele idolobho lisifa kuthiwa kulabantu abasebenzayo kuCouncil besekela kuphela abantu besenza into enjalo. Njenge government layo bakhona anti napha be government bakhona la. Nxa bebona abantu bedelela besenze nje. Mina ngeke ngafika lapha I think a month ago. Imota yami bisivalelwe ngabantu bona belethe ngamaventi. Khona apha begcwele lapha uSecurity wakhe wavala igate. Angikwazi ukuthi babe ukuthi ngangabezwa kunye kwakhona babekhuluma ngangakusho. Kodwa babekhuluma ngamaventi ukuthi yekelana amaventi bazama ukungena lapha abavalelwa ababhoda lapha ababhoda isitolo le. Asobantu bakoBulawayo. Ngoba abantu bakoBulawayo bayahlonipha bakaza benza into enjalo. So okukhona ukuthi njengoBulawayo asibone nini ukuthi into le singayincedisana njani. Kodwa kakhulu kufuna abantu abayibo abayenza umthetho benze umthetho. Bangabuyi kuphela ukuzolala eCouncil. Kuze babuye lapha bazopasa umthetho ukuthi khathesi kwenziwe njani nxa idolobho linje. Bayenza ama resolution liwasubmit kuhambe kubonakala ukuthi kanti kwehlula ngaphi. Nxa kuyikuthi igovernment yena isafuna ukuncedisa sibe kwazi ukuthi igovernment ayisincedisi njengoBulawayo ngoba sizoze sithi phakathi komuzi wakoBulawayo kuphonga ukungena nje abantu bavuke bagcwale ngoba khona bezabuya sebekwazi ukuthi koBulawayo kuyangena idoti yabo ababeyenza khona sebebuya bezoyenza la sebechile khona. So siyacela bakithi ukuthi njengabantu abaziyo ukuthi ama bylaws athini awe City of Bulawayo kufuze siwasebenzise. Ngiyabonga.
Mina ngibekezela oweZAPU. Mina ngithi iCouncil lama bylaws kade singawona akuhlalwa phansi kubuzwe ukuthi njoba siyonile siyambopha kumbe asimbophi. Ngiyabotshwa landela ama proceedings siyaphambili. So iCouncil lawa amandla ngoba ingela awuzobamba ibophe but awukuthi lapha abantu besuke ilawo kayiwasebenzise. Siyayisupporta thina njengeZAPU njengabantu bakoBulawayo siyayisupporta kayiwasebenzisa amandla la ukuthi umuntu kalanto yokudla kumbe kanjani ngisho ama bylaws ayekhona vele kususela kudala ngumthetho umuntu uzamela abontu ulandela umthetho. Akula question na answer ukuthi iCouncil singandingela mina ukudla ngokuthi itwanza hlala lapha. iCouncil ayisiyabulaleliswa. iCouncil izama ukusigcina ukuthi kungabi lemkhuhlane ngoba the next thing ngoba le cholera la siyagijima kuCouncil amanzi eCouncil. Sesiqalisa ukukhala futhi kathesi sifuna abantu bafuna ama service deliveries ukuthi enziwe kuhle and part of I service delivery la ukuxotsha abantu bambani ukwenza singabi lemkhuhlane ngoba izibi zenzana sizibona kwampatna sithatha izithathi. So lana ukuthi thina singalibuziye nembuzo ukuthi why izibi zigcwele lapha why sizagula yenzani umsebenzi wenu siyalisupport. Number 2 engikujabulelayo ukuthi
lithi lizavula indawo zokuthengisela ezindaweni ngezindaweni lapho kuhlala khona abantu. Mina nguward 7 and 8 lapha. It is affectwa kakhulu ngabantu abasuka khatshana le bebuya apha edorobheni bengcolisa lapha. And ungafuna ukubadinga abantu ababekwampana abahlali kwampa. So khonoko kuhle kakhulu sibili ukuthi umuntu kathola indawo yokuthengisela lapha ahlala khona. Abantu banengi bathengisa inkwa etown la bahlala ezindlini le. So nxa beyi-2000 bazabathengela abantu kuma-base naye lizawafaka lingesabi. Okay yakho lapha aqala ngawabiza abantu wathi sengiyakho okay. Wayakha ibuilding wafaka izinto phakathi abantu baqalisa ukungena. So lokho lingakwesabi sibili apply the law akula replacement yokwenza into right unless nxa usenza into wrong. Can't compromise the law for that sake. That's my contribution.
Khulume isikhulumi se-ZANU-PF. Ubaba uMtomo. Ngibona ngazange acace kakhulu ngokuthi idorobho liklinwe njani. Ngokumuzwa kwami ngimuzwe ekhuluma ukuthi abantu kabafundiswe ukuklina endaweni abathengisela kizo. Which Mtomo into esiyilandela ukuthi sizolungisa uBulawayo. Singagijimisa ukuthi abantu uchilo wathi abantu bavela from different political parties. Kanje akungabi lo muntu vele ozabuya ezothengisela edorobheni labo Bulawayo engela license in an undesignated place eyokuthi kungathengiselwa khona. Siyacela sibili ukuthi nxa lisuka lapha baba Mtomo ukhulumile wathi uzayelwe lapha nxa uzayelwe lapha uyamazi uBulawayo ukuthi clean njani. Ube clean njani. Kodwa bathe sisengcolile ngenxa yokuthi mhlawumbe from a political party yenu sasizwa kuthiwa ulabantu abasengabanikazi bama-base, abantu ababhadalisa abantu ama-base. Siyalicela ukuthi hamba besicela ukuthi liye sikhuzela mhlawumbe lihungahunga angazi but yikho sikuzwayo ukuthi sokulo marshal obambe ku5 Avenue okubhadalwa kuwe. Siyacela baba Mtomo ukuthi nxa sisenza sizama ukuhlanza idorobho labo Bulawayo hamba uyesicelela ebandleni leZANU-PF ukuthi ubugwelegwele obenzakalayo obomuntu othatha imali ebantwini i-council ingabenefiti lutho bebuya abantu labana bebuya begcwalisa izibi imihla nemihla kanti abantu labo bacimela ngani unumber 2 bamenzela ngani izulu liyana kwenza unumber 1 kwenza unumber 2 okuzagcina kusenzakala lapha ikholera. So siyacela sibili ukuthi singagijimisi ukuthi abantu bahlale edrobheni bezothengisa lapha kungamelanga ukuthi bathengisele khona. Njalo lathi njengamabandla awe ele CCC le MDC Alliance esilama councillors ayiwahlezi lapha ngithemba we have sibabili plus 1 councillor ovela kulokhu ZANU-PF while is the opposition dominates. Ngiyabonga sibili ukuthi bakhona abanye abamengisebenza nabo la. Kufanele ukuthi nxa sisiya ekhethweni sikhethe abantu abazabuya lapho bozohlala kuma council chambers njengoba uNdlovu echilo. Hayi abantu ababuya bezolala la. Lathi ngomlando wethu njenge political party ukuthi sisuka lapha namuhla sihambe siyekhetha ubukhokheli obuqondileyo hayi ubukhokheli bobungane ngekhaya. That's the only way we can achieve to clean uBulawayo. Ngiyakwazi ukuthi awunhleke uhlezi khona lapha uthwele nzima ngamanye ama councillors ukuthi ucommunicate kanjani nabo. Kodwa kumele siyekulungisa ngiyathemba njengoba sikhona lapha njengezikhulu ze CCC le MDC Alliance kumbe le ZANU sicela lisiphathele ubukhokheli obujulileyo lenze umsebenzi kaCouncil ube lula. Ngiphinde ngibonge ubaba uTown Clerk. Ukhulumile wathi uma groups amaningi. Kulenye igroup ekade sikhuluma, it's a big group kuthiwa i-social democracy. Izakhamizi obulawayo eziningi sikhona pha la ukhona ubaba uTown Clerk. Sicontributile ngaze ngayabhala ngambona sibili ukuthi usebalile into kanjani engiyibhalileyo. Siyabonga Town Clerk ukuthi libuye lamaqhinga ukuthi ubulawayo ayeklinwa lisebenzise imithetho eyayivele isetshenziswa ngamakhiwa kudala ama-policies ayo.
I think it's rather untidy, a bit shabby for political parties to be called here when the elephant in the room is known. Shirodza Sweden.
What?
Shirodza Sweden.
For PCC. What?
Shirodza.
Yeah, all right, that's fine.
Sweden.
Go ahead, sir. It's, you go ahead, yes.
The elephant in the room is known, and the problem that we are here about is the litter and unnecessary loitering in the CBD. And what my brother from Mtwaga's Republic Party mentioned was quite right, and that needs to be supported. He was very honest. We can't be called here and then be censored to speak out about what really the problem is when we know the problem. The problem in the city is an avalanche of ZANU PF aligned vendors who are acting with impunity. They're acting above the law. And there's been a speaker from council who says people are name dropping. There are no people who are name dropping. It's ZANU PF aligned vendors who are name dropping because ZANU PF controls the levers of security in government. There is no one in CCC or MDC who can override council authority. There is no one who grew up in Bulawayo who is a bona fide resident who can defy the blue uniform of council security. Omakokoba betu. Akula muntu owako Bulawayo ongumthwakazi oqinisileyo oqotho umthwakazi ongaphikisana lophawu lwendlovu olukamakhokhoba ethe ebona umakhokhoba lapha athathane labantu abachaya igenge bethi sesichaya umakhokhoba. So when we come here, we must state the truth that ZANU PF is causing a lot of problems in the streets of Bulawayo. We can't hide against that. And you heard from the speaker of ZANU PF mentioning about the hygiene around selling. No, it's not about the hygiene. It's about the observance of the laws of the country, the bylaws. It's not about hygiene, you know? And nobody should have authority, because we've heard by way of rumor, to collect rent for some space of land that they do not own. How do they do that? That's impunity. That can only be done by somebody, you know, who comes from the ruling party. And why do I say this? There's precedence. There's a Magura Charumbira a few years ago, in 2018, who beat up Councillor Charles Moyo, when Councillor Charles Moyo approached him to say, why are you intending to list this? And it's there on Google, you know. So this is the problem that we face in this city, that we've had a lot of people who are leaning towards ZANU PF because ZANU PF controls the levers of government, and this is the problem that we have. And this is the elephant in the room. We cannot run away from that. And the last speaker, Mbuso Siso, was on point on that. We can't run away from that. The opposition parties have credited the Zimbabwean laws with contribution on devolution. And so when we speak of Bulawayo residents, we're talking about abantu abahlali bako Bulawayo. And what happened after COVID is that izalukazi zethu ezazithengisa, especially ku 5th Avenue, were removed. And then towards our elections as ZANU PF, we then saw an avalanche of people coming from outside the city. And what then happened when council tried to control that, Oma Kokoba Labana tried to control that, Lapana to ZANU next. You know the incident. A lot of people wearing ZANU PF regalia ganged up against Oma Koko. But Kogi regalia is ZANU PF. Then we are called here to beat about the bush and then speak about a problem as if all of us are involved. It's not CCC that is involved. It's ZANU PF. So that is the elephant in the room that should be solved. My suggestion on AMA vendors is to solve the problem in such a way that we are pitiful towards those who are unemployed. And I will speak for Abantu Bako Bulawayo. Those are the ones that I'm worried about. Because selective evolution is a vela saifaga ezumteto. So I cannot be speaking about Abantu Abangahlali go Bulawayo. So there is not name dropping that is happening. I've already mentioned the elephant in the room and what it is. And the last thing that I want to say before I stop talking is ukuthi sizwa ihungahunga elokuthi this whole meeting is a farce, it's a cover-up. Ukuthi come implementation kulenjongo yokuthi ukhitshwe abantu from who are unknown politically. Kusale abantu bezana. This is what we are getting by way of rumor.
No.
And we would want that clarified.
No.
Thank you.
We don't, Mr. Choros, we don't operate like that. We recognize the residents of Bulawayo. If you are a resident of Bulawayo, you are our employer. You are one of us. We don't look at you from a political point of view or from a tribal point of view. No. That is not us as council. We are an organ of government. And we are the government of the people, the very people, the very residents, whether they are white, black, or blue, Shona, and Debele, that we don't mind. And we cannot remove people, residents of Bulawayo, and replace them with ZANU PF members who are not residents of Bulawayo. But everybody who is a resident of Bulawayo is our employer as city council. Please, I had listened to you on other areas. There we differ 100%.
To this narrative, we are the party that put people in the street.
Allow him to speak. Allow him to speak.
May I speak? May I speak? Sorry.
Can we protect him? I think we were allowing all of us to contribute.
I'll inform my overzealous colleagues. I am the Secretary for Information, and it's my job to disseminate information to party members within this province. That's my job. That job doesn't go to anyone else or nobody else instructs or informs but me. And I'm yet to give any information to hint to any ZANU PF members to go and illegally occupy any base. We are all political parties here. Politics in numbers game, and so I want you to all ask yourselves a question, the members of other political parties. Considering we don't have a seat in Bulawayo and only one councillor, do you really believe if all those thousands who are vending there were ZANU PF members or card-holding members of what ZANU PF, we wouldn't have a seat in this city? You must be a bit sober in your analysis of this situation. What's happening is large parts of your membership, to be honest with you, are coming and putting on those T-shirts and pretending to be ZANU PF members and occupying those bases. That's the truth of the issue. And so let's put an end to this narrative. All those people are ZANU PF. If all those people are ZANU PF, those thousands, my friend, we would have seats in this town. But we don't, because not all of them are ZANU PF people. So I just want to put an end to this narrative that ZANU PF has at any point put people in the street.
Okay.
So now we can get back to the core issue, which is cleanliness of the city. Town clerk, I think cleaning is a once-off event. To clean is not difficult. I'm sure maybe director of it's a matter of days. Trucks can go there, the effort can be deployed, and everything can be nice for one day. Cleanliness is a process. It's an everyday event. It is having the structures in place, the infrastructure in place, maybe the laws in place. My colleague there, ZANU, spoke of maybe fines and putting more bins and so forth. I think that our effort, rather than politicizing this thing, would be to actually, I liked Mazana's contribution when he asked, how many bins are there actually? Let's sit down and analyze. If people here have been to Windhoek, let's say Namibia, Windhoek, do you know how often you see a bin when you're walking in Windhoek? You can't walk, I'm sure those who have been to Windhoek, no, you can't walk 100 meters or 200 meters in Windhoek without seeing a bin, CBD. So we can come here and talk stories about political parties and who put who here, whatever, but it doesn't actually help us clean Bulawayo. What would help us is for us to sit down, count how many bins there are per square meter, sit down, know exactly, even at my legal points or illegal points, whatever, when this many people gather, how many skip big bins are required in such an area for it to stay clean. I don't think people woke up today all of a sudden they are mad or they are irresponsible or they are whatever. What is lacking is the fact that someone may not feel like walking 500 meters to get to the nearest bin or 300 meters to the nearest bin. But I like to think that all people are rational beings. If you set up the infrastructure and the support for them to clean, they will clean. So I think let's discuss that rather than going back and forth over who put who where or whatever. That's neither here nor there. So what? Whether the person is ZANU PF or CCC or whatever. Munaka kanda paper pass. Not basa kuti party. That's the truth. And it. So I think let's try and always keep this conversation within the framework of practicality.
I wanted to refer to something which has been with us for more than 1 year, the National Cleaning Program. I know as political parties here, you may be saying maybe it's a political program, but that's a national program. Let's embrace that program, all of us. I like what you said. It's a national cleaning program, and if we are cleaning Bulawayo, let's all stand up and clean. Please, as clean any Toropole, you sing a national cleaning every first Friday. It's a national cleaning program. As it says, as cleaning any Bulawayo. It's a cleaning around ourselves. And then kulo abanye abathi sizwele abantu unemployed. Vele siyabazwela, that's why sithi thina ngabe be registered sibanike ilokhuzeni ngoba economy is informal, but you be registered and operate within the confines of the law. We cannot be pitful for somebody whom we don't know and somebody who is generating garbage on the streets. That we will not. Those who are registered, those whom we know, those whom we serve, who are residents, will be pitful, obviously, because we work for them.
The way forward is to ensure that we do implement the laws, the bylaws, and every other supporting initiative that would make our city clean. Like the TC has said, the central government is very much supportive of the need to have a clean city. And this is why the president has actually declared the first Friday of every month a national cleanup day. Just last week, we were cleaning at that's Imara, near Godini there. And we do it, and it has to be a culture. And if that culture is internalized by our residents, which I believe it is, because wherever we try to clean up a specific place, the support is quite overwhelming, which means it is that behavior of cleanliness is inherently there. And anything that is now coming in to suggest we need to be dirty is quite foreign. So our people know, just as has been reflected in this discussion, that the city needs to be clean. And we start with the law. We need to be lawful. The vendors, if you go outside there, you talk about this, in whatever activity they will be doing, they will be aware that what they will be doing is unlawful. And the correct information should be disseminated to them. People have to be informed. I want to believe council has come up with a proper process to engage, and then at the end of the day, we should have a, sorry, we should have a city that reflects what Bulawayo stands for. I heard about why government is coming in, there are different levels and so forth. That's the governance nature of our country. I think we have got a lot of ministries that we have, which are national. Education, health, transport, and so forth. They are there to offer support to the local authority. If you look at the issues of the roads that we are talking about, MRP, some of the roads are now trafficable. It's because of government. We are talking of the issue of water. Government is supporting with those initiations. We are talking about the issues of COVID. Government is coming in. We are talking about, say, Mpilo Hospital, where doctors' accommodation were bent down. Government came in. So we are there to support and complement the efforts of the local authority. When we were here, you heard the local authority was responding. Government was not responding. It means the government is responding. Sorry. What it means is the local authority is in charge of all what is supposed to be done. And at the back of it, we are there to complement and support also. As a unitary state, the Constitution emphasizes that we are a unitary state. And we need to work together.